In this video, we will explore the features of the RIGrunner 4005i and demonstrate how it can be accessed via a web browser. The RIGrunner 4005i enables operators of amateur radio equipment, emergency communication systems, and repeater sites to monitor and control their 12-volt DC power distribution systems from any internet-connected mobile device or PC. This demonstration showcases the functionality of the RIGrunner 4005i with Wi-Fi. The tablet connects to the RIGrunner 4005i unit via a Wi-Fi connection, and the unit software interface is accessed through a web browser on the tablet. The web page displays the status of the 5 nodes and the DC supply. Users can toggle the nodes on and off directly from the web page. As shown, turning off the first node on the web page results in the corresponding node on the unit being turned off. The front panel of the RIGrunner 4005i features an LCD screen that displays the unit's operational status. This screen automatically scrolls through the status of all nodes and the DC supply, including real-time voltage and current measurements. Users can manually scroll to the next screen using the Next button. Pressing the Exit button returns the display to automatic scrolling mode. Each of the 5 nodes on the RIGrunner 4005i features a button to turn it on or off or to reset the electronic fuse. Each node also includes an LED indicator to display its status. The nodes use power pole connectors and can collectively handle up to 40 amps. The DC supply input, also utilizing a power pole connector, can be connected to either a DC power supply or a battery. The expansion port offers general I/O pins that advanced users can control remotely. This unit is equipped with an RJ45 Ethernet port and does not have Wi-Fi capability. In addition to the base model of the RIGrunner 4005i, which operates at 12 volts, we offer a model with Wi-Fi capability and a 24-volt positive Ethernet model. The RIGrunner 110i model can be mounted to a rack, has 10 outlets, and delivers up to 100 amps total. The DC input for the RIGrunner 110i has color-coded stud terminals instead of a power pole connector. Current models of the RIGrunner 4005i and 110i include all the features highlighted in this video. However, some older units may have fewer features. In order to use the Ethernet port on the RIGrunner 4005i with Wi-Fi model, the firmware needs to be updated. The firmware can be found by going to westmountainradio.com and clicking on the Downloads link in the support menu. Click on RIGrunners to jump down to that section. This is also where you can find the product's user manual, which contains a lot of helpful information. The inside of the unit has a 40 amp fuse for the DC supply. This is a standard automotive fuse. There is a micro SD card port for when you want to log alarms to an SD card. The SD card is not included. The mini USB port can be used to connect the unit to a PC, enabling access to a serial configuration terminal for network configuration adjustments. The bottom right image shows the serial configuration terminal. It is included in the WMR device diagnostic utility software, which can be seen in the top right. The first step to accessing the terminal is to download and install to your PC the utility software from westmountainradio.com. It can be found by hovering over the support menu and clicking on Downloads. Click on WMR Device Diagnostic Utility. Click on the Download Software button and then install the software by running the program after it is downloaded. The second step is to remove the top of the RIGrunner 4005i's enclosure, connect the board to a power source, and use a mini USB cable to connect the board to a PC. The next step is to run the utility software and find the connected unit. The unit should appear in the list of devices as West Mountain Radio RIGrunner 4005i. Double-click on the unit's name, or right-click on the unit's name and select Test. A blank serial terminal will appear. Press the spacebar on your keyboard to refresh the console. The terminal window shows which keys you can press on the keyboard to perform an action. For example, pressing C will begin configuration of the network parameters. To configure your settings more easily, use the RIGrunner 4005i's web interface. To access the web interface for the first time, use an Ethernet cable to connect the powered RIGrunner 4005i directly to a PC. If the PC does not automatically perform a network crossover to connect to the RIGrunner 4005i, then consult the manual for more guidance. Open a web browser and go to the unit's IP address. The default IP address is 192.168.100.220 but can be different depending on the configuration settings. You can cycle through the front panel screens to find the unit's IP address. On the network setup page, you can configure network settings such as the IP address. The unit can be connected directly to a computer for a peer-to-peer network or to an existing network infrastructure to enable communication over longer distances. SNMP, or Simple Network Management Protocol, is a widely used protocol for network management. SNMP allows for the exchange of management information between the RIGrunner 4005i and other network devices. The integrated SNMP agent within the RIGrunner 4005i allows the user to request information regarding the state of the output nodes, set device parameters, and perform other control and monitoring actions. The network watchdog timer can reboot the unit if a specific HTTP request isn't periodically received. At the bottom of the page are the buttons for submitting or canceling the changes. Notice that the configuration settings on this page require a power cycle or reboot to make the changes take effect. On the device setup page, you'll find the unit's hardware and firmware version numbers. If you're using an SD card, there's a section for setting when information should be logged to the SD card. In the third section, you can download an SNMP Management Information Base (MIB) file and then import it into an SNMP MIB browsing software to view the database describing the RIGrunner 4005i parameters. The SNMP MIB browsing software is an optional alternate interface. Shown is an example of a free utility that can be used to import and view an MIB file. The software can then be used to perform SNMP commands like get next, and set SNMP. These commands can be used to view the name and current draw of output nodes and turn nodes on or off. The Date and Time Setting section is where the time zone can be set. The last section lets you adjust the brightness of the LCD screen on the unit. The User Setup page is where you can configure users and access levels for web and SNMP users. A user with access set to Control can turn nodes on and off, configure alarms, view status, and more but cannot edit network settings. Only users with access set to Admin can edit network settings. Under Miscellaneous, you can disable or enable the front panel buttons for turning nodes on and off. You can perform a factory reset of the unit at the bottom of the page. Email settings can be configured on the Email Setup page. In order to send emails, the RIGrunner 4005i must have access to an SMTP server. An SMTP server is a server on the Internet that relays emails. Near the bottom of the page is an option to send a test email. If the RIGrunner 4005i appears to be configured correctly but no emails are being received, then consult the manual for troubleshooting tips. The fuse setup page is where you can set email alerts, the electronic fuse threshold, and alarms for each node. An alarm can be triggered when the voltage is too high or low, the fuse is blown, or a node turns on or off. Alarms can be emailed, logged to an SD card, and/or cause an SNMP trap. An SNMP trap is a notification message sent from an SNMP agent to an SNMP manager. On the sensor setup page, you can set the name of each of the nodes. Nodes can be set to pulse if you have a device connected to a node output that should not be permanently turned on or off. The output nodes can be scheduled to turn on or off at certain times. You can also schedule logging to only be enabled during certain times. In the last section, the output nodes can be delayed from turning on in order to prevent a large inrush of current. The RIGrunner 4005i and 110i can be used with Node-RED if you are interested in adding the ability to monitor and control a RIGrunner to a Node-RED dashboard. Node-RED is a programming tool that has a browser-based flow editor for wiring together hardware devices. Others have created Node-RED flows for the RIGrunners and posted them online to share. To download the flows, visit the URL shown on the screen. This page shows a message from a Node-RED ham radio group. Look at the previous message in this group to find a link to a YouTube video that shows a Node-RED flow and dashboard for the RIGrunner 110i. Take remote control of your equipment using the RIGrunner 4005i. Visit westmountainradio.com to learn more or to purchase the RIGrunner 4005i or any of the other convenient RIGrunner models.